let's talk about this. What we doing before we love? We're talking about courtship. We hit that. We're gonna go back and touch celibacy again because I want you to give us the reasons why we should. One of the things I know, one of my pastors, he would always say, even if you didn't want to be celibate because of the God reasons, the HIV rate ain't no joke. So you might want to calm down. You might want to calm down. You know, even if you didn't want to do it because of God, you might want to do it because of HIV.
Oh, a t-shirt, huh? Is that a shirt?
Okay, but we're gonna talk about this event that you have coming up.
Okay.
Valentine's Day.
Yes, I'm super excited about it. The inspiration for the event, well, it really just kind of just came from the idea that, you know, I remember when I was single, and I remember Valentine's Day typically being a hard day for me. Just, I don't know, you just see all the women getting all the cards and all the candy and all this stuff, and you're just like, man, you know, and typically I was probably dating, or when I say dating, I use that loosely, but probably talking to somebody or, you know, having conversations on the phone with somebody. And they would, like, just only send a text message, Happy Valentine's Day. I'm like, well, where are my flowers? Where's my candy? You know? And typically, they would get lost on that day. Like, they would, but the day after Valentine's Day, they would start calling. So it was just a hard time for me during that time. And so I instantly thought about singles. And I said I want to do an event where basically they can just come out and just enjoy themselves. So that was the inspiration for my girls' night out. And my theme for that night is a Coco Chanel quote: keep your head, heels, and standards high. So, ladies, come out and be ready to slay, okay? And again, I have my own definition of slay, but you know, you just it's also about dressing. So I want you to come out. I want you to put on your bodycon dresses. That's just a little form-fitting dress. Put on, you know, however you dress. If you don't wear dresses, whatever, just look nice. Come out, be fly, do you. Come out, and our hashtag for the night is push through. Because that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be pushing through the whole night. I got a panel. This is the most diversity. You're not checking for a guy. You're not trying to see who in your inbox, who looking for you. You know, you're focusing on being God's best so that you can receive God's best. And all my broadcasts, everything that I do is about getting ladies in position to receive their Boaz. So.
And so where would we find the tickets?
Oh, so the tickets are at FallonBonner.com. So FallonBonner.com, and you can click on events, and it's a link to click it on and buy your ticket.
Now, you always say God's best or God's choice, good choice. That's a book also, right?
It's called Choosing God's Best.
Choosing God's Best. And you say you read that
yes,
book? Yes,
I read it like 2 or 3 times.
What's
yes.
the reason behind it?
Because the first 2 times I read it, first time I read it, I was like, oh, okay. The second time I read it, actually the first time I read it, I was dating somebody who I thought was like the one. Like, so what I did was I opened the book and I was picking and choosing what I wanted to take from the book. So I remember I was staying the night at his house, you know, and I was like, well, I'm past, you know, I was skipping to the 3rd and 4th chapter. Look, I already got him in. I don't need all this stuff he's trying to tell me. So I remember skipping over to that part and just picking out what I wanted to do. So, of course, that relationship failed miserably, you know. So then I wanted to pick the book up again. I read the book the second time, and I was just like, okay, I get it. It wasn't until the 3rd time I read it, I got so much revelation. It was like God just, it was almost like the scales fell off my eyes, and like I was able to really see. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I get it. And in the book, he talks about keeping yourself spiritually, physically, and emotionally pure for your husband. And so I was like, okay, you know, I didn't really understand. I just thought the physical part. But he was like, no, those long, intimate conversations on the phone and you pouring your heart out, telling your dreams and, you know, all this stuff, that's reserved for your husband, not they, your boo, you know, your homeboy, that or just your friend that you're dating. That's reserved for your husband. So that's when I said I was going to completely dump it the second time. And I was just like, okay, I get it. It wasn't until the 3rd time I read it, I got so much revelation. It was like God just... It was almost like the scales fell off my eyes, and like I was able to really see, and I was like, oh my gosh, I get it. And in the book, he talks about keeping yourself spiritually, physically, and emotionally pure for your husband. And so I was like, okay, you know, I didn't really understand. I just thought the physical part, but he was like, no, those long, intimate conversations on the phone and you pouring your heart out, telling your dreams and, you know, all this stuff, that's reserved for your husband. Not they, your boo, you know, your homeboy, that or just your friend that you're dating. That's reserved for your husband. So that's when I said I was gonna completely dump.
But emails from my children teacher.
it can get lonely.
Yes, it's like But with me being the type of person that I am, God had to. He had to just just do it to me. Like he had to go cold turkey with me. Like, look, I'm finna clean you dry. You finna be dry. And I actually like it, but at the same time, it's like, how do you? I know Nikki came to you, Fantasia husband came to her, but you kind of feel like if I don't go nowhere, if I'm not talking to somebody, then ain't nobody gonna come to me. That's just
I
keeping
love
it
that
real.
question.
What
I
I'm
love
saying?
that
Like,
question because I had that same question, and it's a normal thing to think. That's very. I mean, think about it. But the word tells us that we're in this world, but we're not of this world. So we don't have to do the same things that they do to get what they have. You know what I mean? And so anyway. It's just so fun that you asked this question about, oh gosh, what was I finna say? Let's bring it back to my remembrance. I completely forgot what I was going to tell you about, it was good too. Gosh, I hate that with that. But anyway, it's like I can't even go past it without, I want to tell you this. Ask the question again.
In the waiting process, like, how do you feel? Because you begin to think, if I'm waiting, if I'm cutting everybody off, if I'm in the shutdown season.
Oh, yeah. That's what he's wanting me to tell you. Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Lord. All right. That basically, God is the best matchmaker. That's what he wanted me to tell you. He is the best matchmaker. Like, he knows strategically what to do and how to do to get your man of God right in the place to meet you. So, and that's just the enemy, and that's what I was thinking the same thing when I was saying, I'm like, man, like, okay, if I'm shutting it down, I'm only hanging out with my girlfriends, I'm not really going anywhere, because our little girls' night, they had kind of like dwindled away, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were doing here and there, but it wasn't as consistent. So I really felt like, how in the world? But think about it. You go out, you're not a hermit. You don't just sit in the house all day. You know what I'm saying? God, he can. I gave you the example on the broadcast. You can be in the grocery store and you can be on the aisle and you can be like, man, I forgot something in the car. And you got to run back to the car, and God can have your husband pulling up right next to you and get out, and you so busy rushing or whatever, and he may bump you or whatever, and that's him. Mm-hmm. God know how to do this. Like, when I met Nikki, and this is the perfect example, because when I met my husband, I wasn't doing anything. I only went out because it was one of my girlfriend's birthday dinner. Now, mind you, typically for our close friends, we know all their friends, right? All their mutual friends. I feel like I had met all her friends. I'm like, I pretty much know all her friends. I feel like it was going to be a bunch of, people that went to church with us. So I was really all about pouring into her. Mm-hmm. So I remember when I went out that night, I hadn't met all of her friends, so I had met Nikki. Mm-hmm. And that's how I met him. I met him at a mutual friend's birthday dinner where I felt like I had met everybody. Right. Yeah. So just be encouraged and know that God come on, he created the world. You mean tell me he don't know how to get your husband to you? Come on. Like, that's easy for him. That's simple. Yeah, girl, that's like a light thing for him. He said in his word that it's not good for man to be alone. He promised us that, so he designed marriage. I'm like, that's not something that we just kind of came over, you know what, we need to get together and get with a man and become one. No, all that's God's idea. So he desired to get you married just as bad, probably even more than you want to be married. That's the thing. Yes. And I think women just, because we're in this world and obviously we see the natural things, it's hard and it's just, you kind of want to say, well, is it going to ever happen? And how in the world is he going to come? You just got to have faith and you got to believe that God know how to do this. Like
we talked about during the break when we talked about how you were saying on one of your let me tell you about these broadcasts. Sometimes I get on them live and I only have a little bit of time to stay on, but then I go back and I watch them. And these broadcasts, I promise you're going to be looking like, look, I got so happy though, because I'm like, I am not the only one. Yes. Like, and you have one of them moments like, I am not the only one. And you see someone else as beautiful as you are that's simply sitting there going through the same thing. But in the broadcast, when you were like, how you watch your friends and everybody around you, they be in these relationships, they happy, they going on trips. I got friends, they coupled up, they got card night, he doing the most for her. I got friends that can be in this relationship for about 6-7 months and that don't work, and then about 30-45 days later they got a new boo, and I'm like, what's the we on 108 place, but I'm like, WTH. Did I miss? Like, what am I doing wrong? And then they be telling me like, you too hard, you do this, you do that. And, my thing is, because now I have been, post-divorce, I have children. my children are my number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
What's not gonna happen is anybody. I'll stay single the rest of my days until I get my children up out my house before somebody strange and crazy come through there.
Right.
And, you know, so that's also my number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I'm feeling like, okay, well, you know, you start asking yourself, well, what is wrong with me?
Right.
And you said you've been there.
Yes, I have been there. Like I had it was 3 of my girlfriends. We, you know, all best friends, and literally every last one of them were in a relationship. And I'm not just talking about just the, you know, little, oh, I just met this guy. I'm talking about like, you know, how you date somebody for like 2 and 3 years. Like one of them, none of them were over maybe about 3 years, but they were in long-term, I'll call them long-term relationships. Mm-hmm. And so to me, I felt like they were promising, you know, because I didn't know any better. And I had just gotten saved. I didn't really understand, you know, everything about the word, and I didn't really know what I know now. So I was looking at them like, man, they have something promising. I don't. Mm. You know, I was like, I don't have that sure thing. They got that sure thing because they got that physical man in their life that seems to be, you know, doing everything right, dating them, like you said, going on the trips and doing the, sometimes they probably would, you know, hang out with each other, couples, you know, all this different stuff. And I was like, how is it that the Christian who's celibate, saved, and waiting on God don't have a prospect in sight? So I'm like, come on, Jesus.
A prospect
in sight. I'm sitting at home, my Bible in my hand, like, Lord, really? This ain't what's saying. No. Like, I was so hurt, and I'm like, I don't understand this, but I don't know. Halavisha, I just gotta tell you, it was just a something so deep in my spirit to let me know that God was going to come through, and he was going to, you know, he was going to deliver for me. And I just felt like that it was just a matter of time. I never ever questioned, would I get married? It wasn't a matter of if, but when. Mm-hmm. You know, so I knew I was going to get married. But anyway, I did go through that period. And the crazy part about it is, and this is just show you how big our God is, literally, I'm still the only one, you know, married, basically. Mm-hmm. You know, none of them are still married. Like, and you gotta think, I was celibate 3 years. Nikki and I were married almost 4. Mm-hmm. So you do the math on that. They still not married. So what seems to be, you know, most times it's not. That's why the word tells you, do not be moved by what you see. What you see is temporal. That means it's subject to change. And that's exactly what happened. Now, one of them, my best friend, just got engaged literally last month in December. She just got engaged. So, but, you know, she watched me. She watched Nikki and I poured into her. She watched our testimony from, you know, being close to us. And she got in a position, she was celibate. She like, God, I trust you. And she began to trust God for her mate. And I'm so excited to see that now she's about to walk into, you know, being a wife. Because literally when you be married, those are the best years of your life. You know, when you get the right one.
I'm going to write this question down.
Okay.
We're going to go for another break.
Okay.
But I got a good question about celibacy and abstinence from sex when you are in a relationship and you already doing it, but then you put a stop to it. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. Yeah. Okay? Because now, you know how I said earlier, I felt like sometimes you feel like you're trying to make them marry, but I have ran across people that have I ain't having sex with him unless he married me. So we're going to talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
I don't think that's the right way to do it.
No.
I don't.
No.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go off to our next break. We will have the phone lines open when we come back, but she's going to answer my question first. So, whatever. And so once again, guys, thank you for tuning in on this Saturday morning, and we'll be right back with you guys. We're on 108 Praise Radio. Are you
Go ahead.
be running this station by himself? He is the owner of the station.
Oh,
He does so
okay.
good for us. Court, when you playing the